Hey there, and welcome to this recording where we're going to dive into the identity series. And I call it the Identity Discovery series. And there's going to be a few different videos that talk about identity. And then you're going to go into an exercise where you are given the tools to be able to discover the identity that you're currently living from. And right now, you might be thinking, what are you talking about? I don't even know what my identity is. I don't even know the first thing about identity. And that's completely okay because I'm going to explain that to you as we go through these videos. To kick it off, though, I wanted to give you an overview of I don't know if I'll call it a theory, but something that I learned from one of my coaches, one of my teachers about how we come to exist in this world, how we come to go about our day-to-day lives with a identity. I call it an adapted identity, but I want to explain to you how this is formed. All right. So I believe that we are born into this world with a self, with a vitality, a temperament, a way of being, a knowing. And before anyone tells us who to be, we already have this way of being. You can see that when babies are born. They oftentimes have a certain way of being. Maybe they're a really stubborn child. Maybe this was the case with my kid. They don't want to go to sleep at night. They want to be up. They want you with them. They have their own personality about them. Maybe they are already silly, and you can already see this in a baby. They come into this world as they are. And then, as all humans do, we grow. We enter our families, our schools, our religion, our culture, social environments, whatever it is, each with their own beliefs about how to be, how to behave, what is acceptable, what is rewarded, and certainly what is not. And none of this is inherently bad. It's simply how humans learn to belong. And this goes back to the caveman days when, in order to be a part of the tribe, in order to be a part of the community, you had to do certain things, you had to be a certain way. And that's still today. We all innately have in us this desire to belong, to connect. Here's the thing, along the way, there are moments, sometimes subtle, sometimes repeated, where being ourselves feels risky. Maybe you're a child who shows up with big emotions and you were told to calm down, stop crying, stop being so sensitive. Maybe you were expressive or imaginative or creative and someone told you that's silly, that's not something you should be doing or something that you should care about. Maybe you loved drawing or dancing or singing or playing, and that was looked down upon. That was told it wasn't appropriate in your house. It wasn't for someone like you. Maybe you learned that being quiet was safer than speaking up. Maybe you had a really critical parent, and when you said what was authentic and from your heart, you were made to feel stupid. Maybe you were learned that being responsible was more important than being playful. It was more rewarded than being playful. These moments, like these ones I just gave, they don't have to be dramatic to be impactful. Often they happen in very ordinary ways. It's a look, a tone, a reaction, a repeated message that says this part of you is not welcome here. And so, without consciously deciding, you adapt. And as children, we're not sitting there thinking, oh, I'm abandoning myself. But instead, we think, I want to belong. I want to be loved. I want to stay in the group. I want to stay in the tribe. I want to stay connected. So in order to do that, we adjust. Like I said, we adapt. We quiet parts of ourselves. We become easier, smaller, more responsible, more pleasing, less expressive. We take on stories and beliefs that were never ours in the first place. And over time, these adaptations, they shape how we see ourselves and how we move through the world, our behavior. I call this the severance, the split, the tear. And it's a disconnection. It's a disconnection from our true self. It's not because we did something wrong, but it was survival. It was actually the incredible adaptation, intelligent adaptation of ourselves to adapt, to change, to feel connected, to feel a part of the group. It was more important for us to feel connection than to be in our authentic truth. I think that this is so important to understand, because with this understanding, you can stop asking, what did I do wrong? Maybe you can stop questioning why you feel disconnected from yourself, why something just feels off, why you don't feel fully fulfilled, why there's just this part of you that doesn't feel like you're standing in your truth. I feel like this knowledge is so, so pivotal to have. And when I learned it, it really was like a light bulb went off, because I recognized at some point in my life, there was this tear, this separation, this severance from that true self, that authentic being that I came into this world as, and this split to this adapted identity that I took on in order to be the good child, in order to be pleasing to my parents, maybe in order to fit in at school. And then from there, I went on living in this identity, this adapted identity with beliefs and stories that I picked up. And then that turned into behaviors in order to belong, to fit in, to be liked, to be pleasing to my parents, or, whatever it is. That awareness feels to me, and I hope to you, incredibly important to have. And from there, you can start asking much more important questions, such as, who did I learn to become? What identity did I take on? And from there, we'll go into what beliefs and stories you picked up. But we're going to start with the identity. And I'll go into this more in the next audio, but you get the results not from your behavior, but from the identity that you are putting out, that you are carrying with yourself in this world. You get the results of your identity. And that will make much more sense as we go through the next video. But maybe give this video a listen over and see where it lands. All right, I'll see you soon.